Okay, so if you're new to this channel, go ahead and subscribe, hit the like button, make sure you hit the bell as well so you can keep getting notifications. But to all my day oneers, what I'm saying, thanks for being loyal, and thanks for, supporting and leaving comments. I like to read your comments. I try to hit everyone back, you know what I'm saying? And we hit 2,000, I think it was yesterday. And it's starting to like really take off, so I appreciate everybody. I appreciate it. Also, I have a lot that I'm gonna be doing with this channel, but this video is gonna be about deception. Deception is like the worst thing in the world, bro. Like, it's the worst thing in the world. You know why? Because you can't make good decisions with your life if you have bad information. Now, here's a metaphor, but really it's literally what I'm talking about. As far as like managing your money, the better you have an understanding of how much stuff costs, and how much, you're writing down everything that's coming out of your checkbook. You're on top of it. You're counting your money. You're counting the cash that you have. You're counting and making sure that you have all the money that you have spread around. You know exactly where it's at. The better that you're doing that, the more clear you are on your money, and the better you can make good decisions. You're not overspending because you think you have more money than you have. Everybody understands that. Most people don't do it, but everybody understands that. But when we start applying that concept to people, then people start getting lost, because we're no longer talking about money anymore. Something that can just be seen and analyzed. It's tangible. And if it's not tangible, it's a digital number. It is what it is. It's an absolute, right? Either you have it or you don't. But with people, you still need to be a bean counter. You need to understand everybody's intentions around you. But people, like, you can't quantify. You can't really, like, thoughts aren't necessarily things. You know what I'm saying? So they can have certain thoughts that you can't really, get a grasp on, and people start getting lost. At the end of the day, the better you understand people, the better decisions you're going to make with your life. If you have people around you who are deceptive, you're going to make a lot of mistakes. Like, if you have a boss that's constantly telling you, oh, you're about to get promoted, or you're this great employee, we really appreciate you. And we have people like that everywhere that do this, right? But then they turn around and they never promote you. And you don't understand it. Like, you don't understand why, what you got to do, what they're thinking. They don't straight up tell you. But deep in their heart, as soon as they hired you, they already knew they're never going to promote you. They're already thinking that I'm never going to promote this guy. You guys, some of you guys have bosses that are thinking that right now, and you're trying to get a promotion from them, and they aren't ever going to promote you. It's stuff like that, that sucks, but it's reality. You got to understand where somebody's, coming from. But if they told you that, then, they would lose. They would have wouldn't have anybody there, but you would be able to make a better decision. You would have saved yourself a lot of time, waiting, getting promoted. You could have started over somewhere else and saved that time. And that's the reason why deception is so evil. It's one of the worst things that you can do to somebody, besides physically harming them or sexually assaulting them or something like that. Deceiving somebody is just terrible. Like, if you think about somebody who gets murdered, most of it starts with deception. Whether it could be straight from the killer, or it could be the people who told that person that it was safe to be where they are or to do what they're doing. They didn't fully understand the situation, so they lost their life. You can lose everything from money to your life, right? And everybody's lying. People, when you're out and about, nobody's actually being completely who they are. They're not telling you what they actually want from you, or if they want anything from you. Some people, they don't want nothing from you. They're like, you know what? I'm against you. Matter of fact, I don't like you. And not only am I against you, right? I'm going to make sure that if you talk to anybody that I know, I'm going to cut that off. I'm not going to let you in. No matter what you do, I'm not letting you in. I don't care how good of a person you are. I don't care how funny you are. I'm not letting you in. You know, and I'm going to fight you tooth and nail if you try. You know, if they told you that, then you would be in a better position. It would be sad, but you'd be in a better position. And, you know, you can decide to leave or not. And also, like the same thing with being optimistic or being pessimistic. At the end of the day, both those things, those ideas are useless. If you're on this channel, know that. It's useless to be optimistic. It's useless to be pessimistic. You got to be a realist. You got to understand what's going on in front of you. You know, either one could get you killed. Either one can make you lose your life. If you're too optimistic at the wrong time and ain't nothing that you can do to better your situation, and you think that things are gonna fall through and come your way, and then at the end of the day it doesn't, and then you lose out. Now you're asking everybody for favors and trying to get some help, and then that you're being optimistic about your friendships, and then you lose. Like, people lose their lives over being optimistic. People lose their lives over being pessimistic. You got to be a realist. That's the only way to be. Okay, so another thing is, you need to watch out for people who are fake. Any incongruency in how somebody talks or how they do things, you need to stay away from them. 50 Cent said it best. If you don't understand something, and this is actually kind of a different thing a little bit, if you really think about it in a nuanced way, it's a little bit different. But if you don't understand something, then you need to stay away from it. And I repeat, if you don't understand something, stay away from it. And that goes to and that's a good habit to have. There's certain things that happen throughout the day. Something weird happened the other day. Somebody called me, right, while I was driving for Uber, right? And they were like, well, my son, I'm his dad, but me and his mom divorced, and he doesn't know I'm coming, but he got suspended from school, so I'm paying you to go over there and go get him and bring him to my work, which is something that could happen in real life, right? But then he was asking me that to knock on the door and go get this kid, and on top of that, it's a kid, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not sure, because, you know what I'm saying, anything that sounds a little bit, I mean, I understand it. I understand that type of stuff happens. I've been suspended from school. I get it. But I'm going to say no. You say no to that type of stuff. You don't try to figure it out. You don't try to go in there and hope for the best in any of that. Like, I turn down stuff. Anything that confuses me at all. Anything that makes it where I'm like, no. I don't care whether it's harmless or not. The guy was like, oh, I've done this before, you know. I don't care. I'm not doing it. So get somebody else. And that's how you need to be. If anything confuses you, that's like one of the worst positions you can be in, is when you're confused. You can be hypnotized, you can be taken advantage of. Usually people try to rush you through situations when you get confused. Like, they try to spring something up on you and start trying to talk to you like you're stupid, or laugh, or like if you don't like get everything right on the beat with them. And then you might try to prove that you're on the ball, like you're smart, and try to act like you understand or go along with it. And it's like, no, if something starts being confusing at all, you know what I'm saying, just shut it down. It's not worth it. But with fake people, if somebody's being fake, then you already know. You already know. Because you can't have that person around you, because they're already providing the world inaccurate information. They're not giving you accurate enough information. So that's going to set you up to eventually make a bad decision, based on what they're doing. So you really only want real people around you, even if you have to be alone. It's better to be alone than be around a bunch of fake people. I mean, you can fake it, you know what I'm saying? That's part of the 48 laws of power. Like, you don't want to be completely alone, solitude, where you're like really weak. But it's better to have real people around you and have all the fake people. You got to just know that they're just your associates, and really don't spend that much time with them, because again, if they're giving out bad information, then you don't know if you're going to make a mistake or not. You say something, you trust somebody, and then next thing you know, but if they're fake, they're telling you right off the bat, stay away from them. I'm trying to think of, there was another thing that I was thinking about. Okay, the last thing I wanted to say is just people who sit around and think too much. There's not that much to think about. Like, human beings, we're really smart. Everybody's smart. If you think about it, if you have good enough information, you're going to make a good decision. Like, most of us, we can make a good decision for ourselves. The only thing that's difficult about life is the information. And the same thing with just being, we're just smart, right? So if it's something that happens where we don't understand something and we have to think too long about it, then there's, something wrong. If you see somebody else thinking too long about something, then they're probably trying to do some deceptive stuff. You know what I mean? Not that you're going to catch everybody who's trying to deceive you, because people sit around and do most of their deception and planning that out at home, away from you. But a perfect example is if you're trying to explain yourself to like a narc, or somebody you don't even know if they're a narc or not. You're trying to explain your side of things, logic. You guys are in a conflict. You're trying your best to level with them, and they're sitting around thinking, like, and there's really nothing to think about. It's obvious what you're saying. They know the difference between right and wrong. That's like their main deception. Them playing like they're dumb when they're not. So you're over here explaining something to them like they're a child, like they're dumb. They know the difference between right and wrong. They know what's fair and what's not fair. And they're just sitting up there planning out their next power move. That's normally what they do. While you're over here trying to level with them, it always happens. They just sit around and start planning out their next power move on you. And they'll be sitting there, obviously not listening to you and, thinking. They'll turn their head. They'll look to the ground, look off to the left, and they'll start thinking. If you see that look, pay attention to it. And just in general, if you see somebody sitting around thinking at times where there's nothing to think about, unless they actually have something going on that they can prove in their life, like if they have something going on, that's different. But if they, like, an example was like when I said like my mom would be sitting around thinking and looking at me at times where I'm looking at the TV I'm talking about when I was a little kid. She's biting her nails looking at me, and a lot of times she'd have like an angry face. That's not like she's trying to project that to me, but it's like she's thinking about something evil and it's showing on her face, But you'll see that a lot. Like, a lot of times you'll be sitting around talking. They're not really listening to you. They're just turning their head, thinking about something. That right there, that's a problem. But I'm not going to make this video too long, I think you guys get where I'm coming from. And be on the lookout for the book. I decided I'm not going to push it out too early. I wanted to take my time with it. So it's called The Flow Within. The book is called The Flow Within. It's like the best book ever, the best self-improvement book that you could possibly read. You learn about narcs, you learn about self-improvement, you learn hypnosis, you learn everything, like complete game. It's all the way, bro. Like, it's it, man. It's what you've been looking for. It's providing a lot of answers. It's going to make your life a lot easier. Your life's going to be a lot safer. You're going to feel better. And it is what it is, man. It's something that everybody should get. And this is also the bounce back launch. because like I said, I got my wallet stolen, and they took a lot of my money, right? And they took all my YouTube money. I shouldn't have had all this cash in there or whatever, you know what I mean? But I wasn't expecting it. So at the end of the day, this is what you do with life. You bounce back. You use everything that's good or bad. You use everything. That's a bad situation. So I'm using it as a catalyst to go ahead and launch, to get me motivated to move. And that's how you can never be hurt. And that's more Robert Greene right there. That's the 50th law. You know what I'm saying? They call it turning shit into sugar. You know what I'm saying? So I'm leading by example. So show your support. You know what I'm saying? Let's make a movement, because at the end of the day, I'm gonna turn this whole thing into an empire. Watch what I'm talking about. Like I've been, you know what I mean? I seem like I only know about narcs and things like that, but I kind of know my way around, you know what I'm saying, like this world a little bit, and we're gonna build an empire together. You and I, we will build an empire. We're gonna do something amazing. Trust me, like believe me, I have stuff coming. It is coming. So show your support, show your love, and leave a comment, leave a like. That's all I got. Peace.